Thousands of pupils across England, Wales and Northern Ireland are receiving their GCSE results today. And once again, girls are expected to outperform boys, despite boys coming out on top in the A-level results just last week.
Well, education experts say the chronic underachievement of boys at this stage should be treated as a matter of national concern. We're joined now by the Minister of School Standards, Catherine McKinnell. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Look, hopefully it's good news for lots of pupils opening their GCSE results this morning. But, you know, there are real concerns, aren't there? Not just when we look at that issue with the underachievement of boys, but also huge inequalities. We have this stark figure in the paper today. 4/5 of children from white working class backgrounds are falling short in the English and maths skills needed. You're failing so many children, aren't you?
So, first of all, I just have to say that this is a day of celebration. These young people will have worked incredibly hard for their results today. And this is a generation that were locked down in COVID as they transferred into high school. So I don't think we should underestimate the journey that they've had, and also the support that they've had from their schools, from their teachers and from their families to get to this day. But you are also absolutely right to recognise that today's results will also shed light on some of those really entrenched inequalities in our education system that have just persisted for far too long. And as a government, we're really focused on not just delivering the great education that we know lots of children are already getting, but really building on what's working to tackle where we are letting far too many young people down still in an education system that just is not delivering.
So what are you doing to turn this around? Because I spoke to Bridget Phillipson about this last week, and she was talking around too many schools being left adrift, around standards, and also she was talking about early years. But, you know, you are the Minister for School Standards, aren't you? This is on your watch that this is happening.
Yeah, and we're absolutely focused right from the early years, putting in really quality early years provision, making sure that families have access to it, to not only support the families into work, but also make sure that children get the best start in life. We're investing in breakfast clubs so that children get that really strong start to the day, both socialising and eating, but also giving that extra time in the day that we know children benefit from. We're extending free school meals to an additional 500,000 children, making sure that they get access to that if they're on universal credit. We're also putting significant investment into school improvement, making sure that where schools are still not reaching the standards that we would like to see and that these children need to see, that we are working with them to improve. We're not waiting for some structural change to the school in order to achieve that. We're getting right on with the job of working with schools to improve. And we're also reviewing the curriculum and the assessment system. That's an independent process that's ongoing, but we were reporting in the autumn. And we'll also set out a much broader vision for how we're improving our school system in the autumn as well.
OK, I'd like to move on and talk about, I think you'll probably agree, and I'm sure you will agree, it's one of the biggest crises facing your government right now, and that is the asylum crisis. We have seen this week that the Epic Council has won their case, and the High Court has put a temporary injunction, meaning that the asylum seekers in that hotel will have to leave within weeks. And we're now thinking and hearing that this may be replicated across hotels across the country. Where else are you going to put these asylum seekers? What is the plan?
We inherited a huge mess in terms of our immigration system from the previous government. At its peak in 2023, they had 400 asylum hotels, and it's now down to 210. We've committed to ending the use of hotels for asylum seekers, but we have said it will take to the end of this parliament to achieve that. There are, many ways that we are tackling this, one of which, though, is to deal with the backlog of claims, because many of these people are just waiting in these hotels for their asylum cases to be processed. So we are doubling the number of claims that are being processed. We're deporting people who shouldn't be here, because once you make these decisions...
Yeah, all right, but we understand that. But what are you doing now about the number of people in that hotel particularly? Let's say in the Bell Hotel. We know they've got to move out in the next few weeks. That is a decision made by the High Court. Where are you going to put those initially? Because that is a real concern. Where are they going to be? Are they going to just be put into another hotel in another town, in a nearby town? Where are they going to go?
So you ask a very important question, and these are legitimate concerns that local communities have had, and we take it very seriously as a government. But I can't speculate on what
You don't know, do you?
What the Home Office is doing.
Do you? You don't know, and there doesn't seem to be a plan.
So the Home Office is obviously dealing with a huge number of these challenges right around the country, and we're working very closely with local authorities, with local communities, with partner organisations to resolve what is the immediate challenge, but also the broader challenge of bringing down.
I think
the
people
waiting list
want to know, though,
processed.
where these migrants will be housed. Don't they have a right to know? Because as the situation stands, we have, yes, the people from the Bell Hotel in Epping that are going to need to be rehoused within the next few weeks. But if these further challenges by councils are successful, potentially you will have a large number of asylum seekers that you have to rehome at very short notice. And the public are keen to know where that will be. Will that be other hotels, houses of multiple occupancy? What options are there?
So we're working through a whole range of options with local authorities, with partner organisations. I can't give you those answers here this morning. I absolutely recognise.
So you don't know where you're going to put them?
And the questions that your viewers rightly will want to have answers to and understand, but I'm not able to.
Can I just ask you one broader question?
We are working very hard
on the issue. Can I ask you one broader question? You're an MP in Newcastle. Newcastle proudly calls itself the city of sanctuary. We don't really feel like the country of sanctuary at the moment. I mean, do you think the narrative needs to change from the Labour government, who I remember interviewing your colleagues before they were elected, and they would talk about safe and legal routes. The Home Minister was on a protest with refugees. Now we seem to be sort of lighting these fires and allowing these demonstrations to happen, and this rhetoric and this dangerous narrative, this anti-immigrant, anti-asylum seeker narrative. Do you think we need to be more positive about it?
I think you rightly raise a really important issue, that we need to have really cohesive communities that work together to solve some of these challenges. I absolutely recognise the concerns that local people have had about the ongoing challenges in their area, but you're absolutely right. The best way that we can manage some of these challenges is to deal with the incredible backlog of asylum claims that we have inherited from the last government, to process those more quickly, to make sure that people who are entitled to be here are processed in the correct way, and that those who aren't are deported in the way that we have already doubled the number. We really just need to get a system that works. We inherited one that is completely in crisis and broken. We're working very hard to put it right.
Catherine McKinnock, Minister for School Standards. Thank you for joining us.